Since we are about 1.5 months into MLB The Show 22, we should be seeing a Legend and Flashback collection here very soon. In case you don't know what I'm referring to, in MLB The Show 22, you go to your Legend and Flashback screen in Diamond Dynasty in your collections, there will eventually be cards that you can earn for collecting multiple categories of Legend and Flashbacks in the game. In case you are brand new to the channel, make sure you do hit that sub button down below. We upload a lot of no money spent videos amongst other gameplays here on the channel. If you're brand new, make sure you check out the rest of it in case it's your first time seeing me. Also, if you are someone who is trying to get into daily fantasy, check out Underdog. Use code SCANN when you're signing up. You can get your first deposit matched up to $100. But now let's hop on into our Legend and Flashback collections and how we can prepare to complete these no money spent. First of all, I'm gonna give you a couple tips and things of feedback on what I do each year. Since it's now been a couple years of doing this, I've gotten a rhythm and a good understanding of how you should get these collections done, and some tips on what you should be doing to really save stubs and get this done the most efficient way possible, even if you are no money spent or not. First of all, I would collect live series collections first. I wouldn't focus on stashing away cards for Legend and Flashback collections until you get live series collections done. Especially so far this year, MLB The Show is proving they're trying to keep a lot of cards cheap that are lower in overall by doing event rewind packs and including older packs in current packs, like the Face the Franchise cards being available in every pack now. There is more value in spending those stubs and selling away what you have and getting live series stuff done first. Then once you get Randy Johnson, which a lot of people end up getting probably by the 2-month mark, I could say, you should be in a good spot to start tackling these Legend Flashback collections. Second of all, you're going to want to make sure to get your give me cards. What I mean by this is get the cards that are really easily obtainable, especially during their current programs. For example, right now we are at the back end of the spring cleanup program. Make sure you get the spring cleanup bosses while they are at their cheapest. At least for now, they're at their cheapest. I doubt they get much cheaper than this. And make sure you get your classics cards. These classic cards are like basically quick sell right now. Even if you don't think you're gonna need them for collections, there's value in stashing them away in case you do. Also, these gold Legend and Flashbacks from the first featured program, make sure you have all of them by the time this program is done, just in case, because again, these cards are basically quick sell right now, so scoop them up if you have not already. And the same goes to Battle Royale and Ranked Seasons, Pennant Race Awards. Pick up these cheap cards while they're available and flowing in the market, because if you wait too long, people stash them away and just go up in price. So get them now while they are gimmies. 3, you're gonna wanna make sure to use flash sales the right way. I talked about in a previous No Money Spent episode about how you could use flash sales to make good stubs and invest in cards. And in a sense, it's valuable to also get these cards while they're at their cheapest at flash sales. So if big dog packs are dropping during flash sales, maybe scoop up all of those base round cards for you to stash away for collections. I know the first flash sale kind of came up out of the blue. We don't know when another one will be. Even more than just flash sales, keep an eye out on your programs, because in a sense, these programs that we get, like the Big Dog program, kind of act like a flash sale where they drop free packs into the game and these cards get cheaper and cheaper in price. John Franco was like 40K just the other week. And number 4, I would try to build up the inventory and get as much as you can before that collection drops. We don't know what people are going to be doing in terms of getting this collection done. We don't know who the name is, if there's even going to be one technically, but there probably will. People are going to see that thing drop and they're going to start buying away. They're going to start tackling getting these cards, especially right after the card drops. And then you could expect a little bit of a price hike going up once that collection drops, because you never know what people are going to need to get that collection done. They might buy like 5, 10, whatever cards that are cheaper to finish up a certain collection, and they might raise their price. If you really want to be efficient and get as much as you can beforehand, that's something you can do. Now that we went through those tips, I want to cover the individual collections, the individual groups that we have in this Legend and Flashback screen, and go through which ones I think are going to be easy to complete, the ones that you may want to consider potentially skipping. And yes, in case you don't know how this structure is usually each year, there's usually like a voucher system. So there is a special collection with a bunch of vouchers, and you get these vouchers, or sometimes they're players like the Adley Rutschmans or the Joe Mauers, where you could use that player that you get for completing a certain collection to collect the bigger collection card. You're gonna need a certain amount of those. Usually there's gonna be one in each category of this screen, so you can get those Legend and Flashback collections done. category by category, see how easy or difficult each one is. First, we have our postseason. Postseason cards usually hard to come by. There aren't many. There are only 7 right now. Thing is, right now, a lot of them are easy to come by. You know, Reds Live Series collection. And then other than that, you know, David Price is quick sell right now. Lefty Grove is a cheap reliever on the market. He's a base round of the big dog pack. And then it's like, what, Johnny Bench, the event reward, and Oral Hershiser BR program card. So these cards aren't expensive if you're prepping right now. I probably wouldn't get every single one of them. I don't think there's a need for all of them. But if you have like a good majority of them, you're probably fine on this one. Next, we have Veteran. And honestly, Veteran seems pretty easy. Again, Live Series collections seem to be very helpful. Also, those gold Legend and Flashback cards. Veteran cards are a good amount of the BR program cards. And I don't have them because I sold them away because I was focusing on those Live Series collections. Right now, these cards are a little tough to come by. Hopefully, they drop those packs in BR where they include the old BR reward cards like Bob Feller and Jimmy Fox, so these cards are easier to obtain. That's what I'm really waiting on. They probably should do that, but we don't really know. If not, this one might be a little tough. All-Stars are probably in that same boat, except less of these BR cards are All-Stars. A lot of them seem to be rookie, veteran, stuff like that. So far, you know, this one might not be too bad. If you are somebody who's completing collections, doing programs, getting those Legend and Flashback cards, you have a good amount of All-Star cards. There's a lot of them. However, it could get a little ugly, especially if you don't have those Live Series collections done, if you don't have something like a Kenley, Hank Aaron, and some of the previous bosses like Tom Seaver and Ernie Banks. Next, we have our breakout cards. It's kind of right in the same boat as All-Stars, except for a little less. And a lot of the top tier breakout cards are, you know, BR awards, ranked rewards, choice pack cards. So they could be a little bit more expensive. But again, make sure you get those gold Legend and Flashback cards. There's a good amount of them in there. And whichever cards are available in BR, like Castellanos and J.R. Richard, if you're able to, especially when they're cheaper. Don't buy J.R. Richard now for 14K. That's not worth it. Rookie cards, again, are also those BR bronzes. A lot of them are BR bronzes and silvers. So again, these ones may be a little tough if you haven't had them stashed away right now. Again, if they drop that previous BR program card pack, very simple to do. Make sure you buy at least one of the current program flashback cards like the Ernie Banks and get them right now while they are not hard to obtain. They might go up in price potentially after the program, depending on if they drop them or not, or they might stay cheap, but it's good to get them while you know they're cheap. It's like 250 stubs. Second half heroes is a very weird one. It's kind of like postseason where there aren't many, but also these cards are all diamond cards usually. Not many to get. A lot of them are online rewards like BR, events, headliners. So these ones might be a little bit tough depending on the amount. Even if you get Live Series collections done, you only get Gary Carter, Tom Henke, Robin Yount, and Gary Sanchez. You only get 4, actually random web 2, so 5. The rest are like event rewards and BR and all that, and that might be a little bit tough for some. So make sure you try to scoop up a couple of them in those event rewind packs or stuff. Tops now should probably be straightforward if you have been completing your tops now moments. I would really stash these cards away. They're more so collection fuel for next monthly award program. Stash them away. Other than that, you probably don't need to worry too much about Soto and Cole and Story and Bumgarner. They shouldn't be a necessity by the time the collection drops. Worst comes to worst, if you're a little bit short, you might just have to wait 1 week for another set of moments to come out and then to be obtainable. Monthly awards, honestly, I think is going to be pretty simple. We'll see when this drops. If they only include the first program of monthly awards by then, it should be a cakewalk for everyone. However, we gotta see when the next monthly award program drops and how that is timed. Might get a little close and cutting it close if you do include that second monthly award program we're likely gonna have at the beginning of next month. I bought the classics, guys, just for the sake of it, in case some people are gonna need to stash them away for collections if they're not necessary, but some people want to shortcut it and not pay 20K for these cards. I think there's value in having a few of these guys like Stripling, Dickerson, and Reyes. Prospect cards, right now I have all 30 of the golds. I think that's not too bad to do. And then I have some of the extra guys like Bohm and Leiter and some of the special choice back cards. I don't think you're gonna need that much though. I have a feeling Adley will be all that you need for this collection. 25, 35K, especially if you're getting them for free, really shouldn't be bad if you're going for that. Prime cards are interesting here because there are only 8 of them right now. And you get Utley, Troy Gloss, and Ray Durham all from the Live Series collections. Great Sizemore too. So again, if you have those live series collections done, you should be more than fine. And worst comes to worst, you could buy Cishek, Carpenter, Dunn, Carrasco, just for the sake of it, at least 2 of them, because these cards are not too expensive. Award series, you get Frank, Kirk Gibson, and Keuchel at live series collections. David Price isn't too expensive right now. Houston Street is cheap. And then Albert Pujols is an expensive boy. This one, again, if you have live series collections done, you're probably fine. We'll have to see what the plans are, or how many of these cards get added. It could also be tough because if you do need to buy Pujols, that's a pretty expensive card to buy. So that's not going to be great for you. SIG series. You get 3 of them from the live series collections. The only one you can buy in the market is John Franco. This one, they could be nice and be like, hey, you only need 1 SIG series. They could also say, hey, you need 4 of them. Well, I bet they'll have at least at least 1 more SIG series card released by the time the collection drops. And maybe they only make it so you need 2 of them. Maybe they'll be nice about it, but milestones are the same way. It's like you get Clemente, and then Britton, you get as a boss, Dontrelle Willis. At least you could buy 2 of them. So if you do need like 2 of these for a Legend Flashback collection, then you can buy them both on the market. You don't need to complete an entire collection to get them done. And now we're gonna have the 3 tough ones. I'm not sure how I feel about these ones. Face the Franchise. In years past, when these cards were like team affinity cards, it's pretty fair to expect you'd need all of them, or at least a lot of them, because these cards would be great getting a bigger collection done to get like that Joe Mauer type card. But this year, not the same case. We have this whole series of cards that are not too expensive on the market right now. You don't know how many of them you're gonna need. They haven't really been giving out the packs either. You just end up with these cards in your inventory and such. So it's tough to gauge how many you need. If you are someone who has extra stubs and you're feeling confident in your other stuff, don't be afraid, just stash some stubs away. Get a few of these cards while they are cheaper. They are kind of going up in price because they were dirt cheap. Our Takashi cards are tough because we have Carlos Delgado, and then we're having Joe Morgan new BR award coming out. Other than that, the rest of them are from the pre-order pack, which they have not dropped yet. You haven't been able to get that pack at all since the game dropped. There aren't that many of them on the market. I'm personally putting this one on the very back end. If I'm gonna like skip any, I'd probably consider this one just because I don't really know. And I have a feeling this could be something that's not a necessity just because they haven't dropped any of this pack really at all. It's tough to really gauge how obtainable these cards should be or not. And then our cover athletes, basically going for this one right now. Right now I only have Donaldson, but I'm going to work my way up towards Mr. Joe Mauer so we can get this entire collection done. This one is probably going to be valuable to do. I would recommend once you get live series collections done, maybe go for this next because Mauer is actually a really good card. And then you get the double value of using him likely as Legend and Flashback collection fuel. Right now, I'm going to go for that. I'm going to try to complete the BR program, sell those awards ASAP, and then hopefully have nearly enough stubs to get this done. Just to summarize the entire thing, I know we rambled on about the individual divisions. This year, there seem to be a lot more categories with these cover athletes, Takashi, face of the franchise cards, along with our other cards that we have in the game. A lot of categories, a lot of cards to collect. Keep in mind, you'll likely be able to skip at least one of these collections based on how they've done these collections years past. You don't need every single voucher to get a card. You're able to get 12 of the 13, for example. Don't waste your time allocating time for one that you plan on potentially skipping, like Takashi. I'm not getting a single one of these cards, at least until I get cover athletes done, and then maybe a couple more of these other cards in the tougher categories to collect. And again, make sure you do those live series collections first, like I covered in the No Money Spent series here, so you can have the best cards in your inventory. I appreciate you all watching this video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'd love to answer that. And I will be covering this topic again whenever we get confirmation on a Legend and Flashback collection dropping. I'll make sure to cover and give you some insight on how to prepare last minute. We're right about into a new featured program here, so I'll be covering that next, in the value and getting whichever card is involved with that, because there's only going to be one program boss this time around, which should hopefully be exciting. I appreciate you all watching. Make sure you check out the rest of the No Money Spent series up here, and I'll see you all again on next one. Deuces. Bye.